Hello, everybody. This is Coach Ane. Welcome to again another episode of Reflections, the RHWB podcast. Today's episode is very special because today we'll be diving into what makes running more than just a sport, why it's a way of life. And I'm very thrilled to have three incredible runners here with me who truly embody the spirit of our RHWB running group. Yeah, I hope all of you know what our tenets are: commitment, resilience, and having fun. And these three runners really live by that, not only on the running trail, but even, during, in their life. So each of them have shown incredible dedication to their running journeys so far. They have overcome challenges, they have overcome setbacks, and they always find way to keep things fun and lighthearted despite everything, all the problems they have faced on their running journey. So today we are going to explore in this podcast how they do this and how they woven these three principles I talked about into their running and their mindset and their lives. So let me kick things off and welcome our guest. Welcome Aparna, Anand, and Raman. Welcome to Reflections. Why don't we start with your quick introduction? So let's start with Aparna first.
Hi everyone, I'm Aparna. I've been with RHWB since season three. We have like a big contingent of family who are in this group as well. So we have Coach. We all know probably my claim to fame is my husband. So he is Coach Watts. He's been with RHWB since season three as well as Coach Suja, who's my sister. And my younger sister is Coach Swati, and she just joined this season. And my brother-in-law, Priya's, Suja's husband, also runs. So, and my mom is in the master's program as well. So we have like a good team of people.
Wow.
The whole family is into this running, and how we got into the running is we are good friends with Bala, and it was like season three. It was also just starting of like COVID happening, and season three was like coming all together. So it just seemed to be the right thing to do at that right time to get ourselves a little bit more active. And Bala, he's always going to say, like, whatever he does, he convinces you that this is the best thing in life you can ever do. So that's how we started with the running in season three, and haven't stopped since then. I've been continuously with this with the RHWE since then. This is the 10th season I'm on. And first time I'm getting into doing the full marathon. Finally plunged into the pressure a little bit. I'm so excited to do that. I'm going to be running my Chicago full marathon in
Wow.
about weeks.
Lot of peer pressure, Aparna. I don't know
Yes.
how you manage that with
I
Suja
know.
and what's around, but doing your first full marathon in 2 weeks, and
Weeks.
that too a major one, that's gonna be really exciting. So we are gonna cheer for you, and I'm
Yes, I
sure you're
love
gonna
that.
enjoy it. So we'll talk more about it. But Anand, over to you for introductions.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anand Dasgupta. This is my eighth season with RHWB, and probably you would know me more because my wife is a coach over here, Coach Shalpa, and she was the one who basically got me started with running. So she was the one, and then later, my daughter followed. So they both were running. They both started running. They did a couple of seasons, and then I had no option but to eventually join the training. So have been with RHWB ever since, every season. So this is season 8. And I've run multiple marathons and a lot of half marathons. And I really enjoy running. It's become kind of like part of life now. And it's been fun running, and doing this training with RHWB.
I mean, Anand, I know you through running, I guess, through RHWB. And I'll tell you this, one of the best cheerleader on the Strava is you. I know you comment on every run. You're really inspiring and motivating other runners through your comments. It's an amazing thing you are doing on Strava as well, man. So thank you. I just wanted to call that out. Okay, over to our third guest, Raman.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Anu, for having me. Uh, I am rather new to RHWB and not that new to running, but I did start rather late in life. I This is my third season with RHWB. I actually started last year, I ran in fall last year, then in spring, and this is my third season with RHWB. I started running a few years before that, but it was coming to RHWB was what signaled my real passion for running, and that's what made it much easier and much more much more passionate. And I started
Yep.
paying attention to things, and that's what made all the difference. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to sharing some thoughts with you.
Yeah, I think one thing, all three of you are so humble and did not call out. So as a host, I'm gonna call out. It's the commitment. You three are on this podcast because Aparna for last, I guess, 10 season, Anand for last 8 season, and you are for last 3 or 4 season. You are our 5.0 runners. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. I mean, I'm the coach. I never was 5.0. The max I could go was 4.9 because hey, life happens. Some other things comes up on priority and you miss your strength activity, you missed your run or you adjust your run or you don't complete it. You supposed to do 6 mile and do 4 miles. But I think I'm seeing a humility here. All three of you are really, really committed to your program, and all of you are 5.0 runners. That's really, really great. So, and we'll get into that part also. But what I'm interested to know is, uh, let's take it back to the beginning. So I'll start with you again, Aparna. But as they say, journey of 1,000 miles starts with that single step, right? Everyone has their unique story about how they first laced up the running shoes and what was that first run was like. So I would like to hear from you how you got started.
Yeah, it was like COVID. I think that helped us
Hmm.
kind of a little bit. But the first time I started running, I think me and Srivatsan were like so impressed. This was maybe just before the season started. Like we were going to sign, and my sister was like, Suja was running around. So we like one day, okay, let's do this. And then so we both me and Srivatsan laced up our shoes, and we decided like we went, ventured, got like good, like the right shoes, and we started going. So we just ran in the neighborhood. Like we just thought, okay, let's
Hmm.
do 2 miles. So we just started. And after a mile, and I'm looking at him like, who does this? Like, who does running? It's like, really? Why would people do this to themselves? And it's like boring. It's like every time you're hard, like already I'm like panting after like just about three blocks, like into it, I'm panting. And so that's where our first thought process, like, who does running? Like, this is ridiculous that they are making us sign this. But anyway, let's see how it goes. And then when the season started, like when you get into that routine and the environment, the people, the crowd that was with you in that group and the WhatsApp group, now we have gone big, but like when we started, it was all that kind of helped kind of put yourself into a good frame of mind. And then you were almost like running as a group, even though you were individually running, you were still running like a group. And it only took few steps. Like within the first 2 weeks, we would do walk, run, 1 minute walk, 1 minute run, whatever. And then by then, matter of just 4, 5 weeks, you're running 5 miles, 6 miles, and it's like super awesome that you can actually accomplish and do it. And then it's just positive feedback to yourself, right? And it just gets going. But the first thought was, who does this? That's what I
Yeah, I
remember.
know, I know. Do you remember the moment you, when you thought that now I'm hooked? Was it the first run? Was it the fifth run? Do you remember the moment?
The moment, no, I remember the first time we had to do like a 6 miler, like it was almost like
Hmm.
a 10, right? Like prior to that, like training runs, like when I did that 6 miler, I think 10K run was when we were like, oh my goodness, this is it. Like, and that was time with yourself. We had trails, we could go out and run. And like I just saw a spin in my thought process too. I had so much more mental clarity. It was time with myself.
Hmm.
So then I knew it. Okay. And if nothing else sticks, running is going to just stick with me. And I think it
Yeah.
persisted.
Yeah, yeah. Anand, what about you? I know you mentioned Shilpa and your daughter motivated you. As a matter of fact, I remember Shilpa coming to RHWB race day to run her half marathon. I was there that time. Uh, so, but do you remember when you started? And most importantly, what was that moment when you saw that? Man, this is it. I'm hooked now.
Well, so I've been friends with Coach Deepak
Hmm.
for a number of years now. We go back a number of years, right? So, and if you see the like Coach Bala says, if you see the tree of RHWB runners, right, at some point of at some branch or some place, you will definitely yield back to Deepak.
Yeah.
So that's how many runners he has gotten started in RHWB. So in fact, so he was the one who got Shelpa started, right?
Hmm.
And some other folks started. But if you ask him, he will still tell you that I was the most rebellious one, right? I mean, for for a long, long time, I used to say, why do I need a training? I mean, if I have to run, I'll do it myself, right? I don't need to get into a training. Somebody gives me something on pen and paper, which I have to go through study and then give a test in form of a race. Why do I need all that, right? So I could do all of this myself, right? So I was kind of the rebellious one for quite some time, right? And that's when Shalpa and then my daughter Anishka, they actually joined the structured program of RHWB and started training. I think for me the shift really came when and again, as I said, Deepak has been a
Yep.
tremendous influence in my running career. So for me, the real thrust really came when I saw Deepak running his 50-miler ultra.
Yep. I witnessed
Sometime
that
in
as well. Yep.
2021,
Yep.
early 2021, if I remember correctly, right? So that was also the first time when I actually met Bal, right? I had
Hmm.
heard about him. Deepak had talked about him, and Shilpa was in the running club, so she used to talk about him. But that was the first time I met Coach Bala. So
Yep.
both of it, meeting him, and we all know you meet Bala once, and life ends for you as you know it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
that's it.
So,
And then this whole thing with Deepak running his 50, that really got me hooked and got me started.
yeah. So, Raman, these are Bala's neighborhood friend stories, how they got hooked up. But I know you are not based in New Jersey, no, not in Edison. So, what's your story?
I'm not. Yeah. So I live in Pennsylvania, not too far from Philadelphia. So I'm not that far. So I'm kind of in the same region. But yeah, I was running on my own. I started running. At some point, one of my friends was running, and at that time, I did not know there's anything called marathon or half marathon. I mean, I had
Yep.
heard about it, but I did not know anybody who ran it. Then one of my friends said, "Oh, I'm running." He was running a half marathon in Baltimore. He said, "Why don't you come with me?" And I said, I went there, cheered him on. Then he slowly kind of got me into running, and that's how I started. But then I ran three half marathons on my own, just like
Hmm.
Anand was saying. And I thought, no, yes, I can, I can just do it on my own. And but every time it was getting more. It was not becoming easier in any way. I mean, I was doing all the training runs and everything, but it was not getting easier. And then one of my friends, Jaya, who had just started running, she had just signed up for a 5K, and she had, through somebody else, she had joined RHWB, and she suggested it to me. And again, like Anand said, I said, no, I don't need it. So I actually did not sign up. And the whole uh, last date for signing up went away, and I did not sign up. And then finally I thought, no, maybe I should try it. And I went back to her, and she said, okay, let me talk to my coach. And her coach was Coach Saurabh. And he said, okay, I have this wild card. Let me try that. So, but he told her that this guy better be good.
But
Otherwise, I don't want to
yeah,
waste
yeah,
my
wild card is a very
wild card.
precious commodity. Let me tell you that as a coach.
So that's how, yeah, and he did that. And then I signed up, and that's here I am. And then
And rest is
I've been
history.
with Coach Saurabh for this, my third season with him. And he's an amazing runner and an amazing coach. So yeah, that's how my journey
Yeah.
started. And I hope it goes much longer.
Right. What I'm hearing is, especially on when you realize you got hooked up, because until you start, people are telling you why running is good for you. But when you do it, that first, second mile or 6 mile in case of Aparna, it can be 1 mile, 2 mile, 5 mile, 6 mile. There is a common theme across that you start feeling good about yourself, right? You start seeing that this is good for your physical fitness. This is good for your mental fitness. You start seeing that somehow this is pushing me to get in the discipline to chalk out my week, chalk out how I'm going to take care of all my physical activity. And then you suddenly start seeing this benefits which people have been telling you for years, but because you're on the road, you are traveling that journey, you actually experience that firsthand. And I think everybody's story is like that, and they get hooked up. Then they say, "Oh, this is the thing I want to pursue." Amazing, amazing. So let me switch gears and talk about commitment, because again, as I said, you guys are 5.0. So I'll start with Anand first. So Anand, as a runner, we know running isn't always easy, especially on those days when everything feels like a struggle. Even the 5 steps feels like a struggle. So I'm curious to know, because you're 5.0 runner, what motivates you to keep going when things are really, really hard?
Well, for me, it's quite simple, right? I mean, it's just a basic principle, right? I mean, you will do something if you love it really, really well, right?
Hmm.
If somebody tells you that you got to do something because you're forced to do it, then there will be a lot of excuses like this is going wrong, that is going wrong, that is going wrong, and hence I cannot do it, right? So for me, I have kind of followed that principle and developed a special bond or love for running. Now, how does that happen? That doesn't happen overnight, right? For me to love running, right, I really have to enjoy it. So the
Hmm.
enjoyment comes before that. If you enjoy something, you love running. How do you
Hmm.
enjoy something? You enjoy something not just by doing what has been given to you, but to
Hmm.
enjoy something for example, if you want to do a 5 mile run, you
Hmm.
basically, go on a vacation and there you basically go and run 5 miles, without worrying about timing, without worrying about pace, right?
Hmm.
So that's where the enjoyment part comes in. So the basic principle, so if you ask me, right, what is it, why, how are you so committed, what makes you do it? It's very simple. I love what I do, and I love what I do because I enjoy it, right? And
Yeah.
I try to make my runs enjoyable in whatever way possible. That's
Yeah,
all.
so passion is driving it. Passion is driving it, making it easier to be committed. Again, Aparna, and it's not you, your entire family is 5.0. It's a very unique thing, which, and a lot of people get inspired by that. I know Srivatsan is also 5.0. But again, is there a formula? Is there a, a mental framework you guys follow?
I would say more, not like a formula. I think we're all maybe cut from a similar kind of a block. We're like little bit maybe rules driven. Like if we see a pattern and it's like working, like and then you commit to it in a way, and then you keep it as a routine and a rhythm, right? And you make it happen. So I would not to say like everybody, all of us lead very busy lives. We have so much going on, family, our kids are all in that age where they require so much attention in a way,
Hmm.
teenagers or young kiddos for many of us too. For me, the extra thing is my work. I have a really, 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 really hard work schedule. So that was the
Hmm.
reason why I took a long time to even sign up for a full marathon, because you need to commit to the time, right? And you need to really push and do it. But I would say I'm very self-driven. I never say no, and I will follow to the pattern what is being asked of me. I will give myself a full commitment because I've signed up for this season. I'm doing this for myself, like who am I, like
Hmm.
for my own health and my own. So I commit to that and I make it happen. So I will wake up at 4. My clinic starts at like 8 o'clock, Ani. But I will get up, and it's a 1 hour one and a half hour commute for me in the morning. I will get up at 4:30 and get my done. Even in the dark, I'll wear my headlights and I'll go out to the trail and get it run. And sometimes I can't do it because it's too dark. So I will pack my clothes with me and take it. And I get work done only around 6:30, 6:45. I will finish wherever my parking lot at work, I will run. I will finish my run before coming home because I know once I come home, it's not happening. Either we
Yeah.
get tired, we are just bogged down. So I plan my action ahead of it. And the same thing happens. Priya, my sister, does it. Srivatsan does it. We all plan almost our when the schedule is out, we almost plan for the whole week. How are we going to execute those strength trainings and how are we going to execute those runs? So that
Amazing.
planning helps, and that kind of help. Things happen in life, but we somehow move things around here and there and somehow get. But the commitment, I think, comes from within yourself. If you commit to
Yeah.
it, you make it happen.
Yeah. It's true, right? Because see, look, success isn't always about crossing that finish line, right?
Right.
Sometimes it is about the journey to get there. That am I committed to this journey? And if I am successful in committing to the journey, that finish line will happen eventually. Absolutely.
Right.
So, Raman, I know you travel a lot. Uh, you have a pretty busy schedule from office standpoint. You travel quite a bit, and I'm imagining running while on the go can be a challenge, but you still manage to do 5.0. So some, words of wisdom from you, how you stay committed.
Yes, I mean, I feel that we're all, I mean, certain type, different personalities, and for everybody, something or else works. Like Aparna said that she was talking about rule follower, and I can think of myself as somebody who likes to have structure. And
Hmm.
like, it's easier for me to follow a structure, and when you are answerable to somebody, that makes it much easier for me to get it done. And when I was running before RHWB, I was not having. I did have a schedule. Okay, you take some schedule from the internet, but then you don't have that motivation to follow that to the T. But now, when you have somebody giving you feedback every day, and at the end of and then that 5.0 score is always always helpful to keep you going, and you don't want to break that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so last couple of years I've been like, particularly after I joined RHWB, I've been traveling a lot, as we spoke earlier, and my job takes me to like a lot all over Europe, lots of places, and within the US. But I figured that the only way, I mean, initially I was feeling challenged that how do I, like, if I'm traveling, then I'm going to miss my training. And so many people say that, oh, I've been traveling, that's how I miss my training. But then I figured, no, that's not how this is going to work. So I started looking whenever I'm going somewhere. Before I go there and I'm looking at, okay, this is where my hotel is. I start looking at where is the trail nearby, where is the or which community I can go around. And I also am a little bit like, since I'm not that experienced of I look for flatter courses.
Hmm.
so so I go into Google Maps and look for. So I've had a good luck to run in so many nice cities. Last year I ran, and I went to Bratislava. I ran along the Danube River. Then I was in Hungary, Budapest, and ran there. And I found like one of the best trails there. There's a small island in the middle of the river, and it's so nice. I figured out that like how to get there by public transit from my hotel. So all of those things I figured out, and it was rewarding. Every day I was there about a week, and every time I ran, I went in the morning at sunrise and did my
Yeah.
run and took
Yeah.
pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was that's how.
That That's pretty inspiring, though. That's what we call having a fun, right? Despite, yes, life happens, you have to travel, but, and I'm sure you go through some jet lag, some sleep
Yeah.
deprivation and whatnot. But hey, you don't have to be the fastest. You have to be just the one who shows up, who keeps showing up and make sure that they do what is assigned to you. So very, very inspiring in terms of commitment and, Raman, in your case, making it a destination run every time you travel. That's really great. Let's again change gears. Let's talk about resilience. And uh, resilience can be many things to many, many people, right? but especially when it comes to running. So I'm coming to you, Aparna. When it comes to running is an impact sport, right? It does come with its fair share of challenges and setbacks and some injuries. And we have all faced those obstacles along the way, right? Along our 16 weeks of training journey or, different season. Is there a story you have to share? What has been the biggest challenge in your running journey in terms of setbacks or injuries, and how did you come out of it?
Oh yeah, I have, having run 10 seasons, have the story to
I'm
say, I
sure.
think. So I would say the first, I have couple, I'll intertwine. Like one is based on like what happened with not following some of the guidelines that are so important. So
Mm,
one of the things that I had a big setback from is because I ran with my shoes for more than the mileage that it was supposed to be. So people tell you after 400 miles switch shoes, right? Because your it wears off, and then your position of your feet probably might be changing. You're not thinking about all those things, right? And so people, my husband, like Shivatsan runs, like I have coaches in and around me who constantly kept telling me like I have to change
mm,
shoes, but I didn't, right? I ran almost 700 some miles with my first shoe. And I was in a trail actually in New York City doing my long run, like an 8 mile run. And halfway into about 5.5, 6 miles into the run, I was doing so good, so good. One of the best seasons I've had. I have good training. I'm doing so good. And right around like 6.5, like there are 3 more miles to get to my final where we started, I got stuck. I suddenly something happened to my feet and I just couldn't walk, couldn't run. Like I couldn't, something happened. I knew I couldn't
wow.
run. So long story short, that one I happened to have because of the shoe and the way I was running with it for a long time. I ended up having like a small injury in one of the smallest bone in my foot. It's a cuboid bone in my
Oh,
foot, and I had a small hairline fracture. I actually went to the city center, like the New York, urgent care, and they looked at me saying, "There is nothing wrong with the X-ray. Like, why are you really making this drama about it?" I'm like, "No, I think something happened. I had to take an MRI and then figured out it was happening, right?" But still, it could have been easily averted, right? If only I had heeded to the instructions and knew that I had to change the shoes after 400, because there is a reason. We are not asking you to just give the money to the shoe companies, right? It is for a specific reason. And then I have two scenarios more. One, so again, it took me a while. I know you every time I'll weave the story in with the second and the third. The second one happened where life happens, everything is happening. I happened to fall in my garage, and when I was running because I had to rush to work, I fell in the garage and twisted my ankle and broke my fibula.
oh,
But I have not missed any season. I broke my fibula, and that was again in the middle of training, doing so well. But this is life, right? It's not because of running. It just happened. That was the hardest because every I was almost right. It was mid-season. The third mesocycle is going to happen. Everybody around me and Strava, we're all part of Strava, and everybody's like, we have this positive energy coming in, and it's so heartbreaking, right? Because you see these runners and you were constantly looking at all them like you're not able to go run. So I told myself at that time, okay, I have to somehow get back and learn from this and figure out what to do. So I did a lot of strength training, and then slowly as I would get my strength
mm,
back, I started walking. I did a lot of walking, and so I would cover miles a little bit slowly like that. I did end up, even though I didn't finish exactly what the season intended, little later I could complete, and I actually did like a 5K just to get myself happy about it. But I was able to, right? Like I'm not young. I'm pretty decent, reasonably old, for this group, but not a very young. So bones take a longer time to heal. So if you're injured and everything, but you can bounce back. And it was really, and there's so much positive energy coming from the community as well. And there are a lot of stories, and you relate to it. You talk to people who have similar scenarios. I've helped so many other runners who had similar setbacks, and it's been very rewarding for myself and to share that knowledge with them.
mm.
And then the third thing, I'll stop. I talk a lot sometimes, but I'll stop. The third one, I think, is another important one. That is something because of my own running drive, right? Like it's important to know
Mm,
how to train and be proper and be safe and take care of yourself. And as you said, it's your own pace. You're running for yourself, and that is important. And I'm still learning. I'm still
mm,
learning through that process of how to do it. But I did and almost had a stress fracture on my bone and my
mm,
like whatever and one season. But again, that is because of my own doing, because I
Yeah.
was overdoing it or overdoing on my pace. So the way I rectified it, so this season, and I also have many coaches around me, so there's
Yeah.
constant advice pouring into me on how to do things. So I changed my thought process on how to run. So I started doing a lot of run walk and trying to make my, like, control a little bit and be more training. So all it is
Yeah.
to say that you can bounce back, and all it takes is your own commitment, and I think strength training and doing the right thing, and not going after, even though I'm saying this is something that I have to say it to myself, is to not to go for like pace, but just go for fulfilling a good run and keeping yourself happy and healthy, so you can do this for a long time, and that
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to your body. Even
Yeah,
rest is a part of the training. We keep
right,
saying that.
yes.
Listen to your body. Raman, what about you? Any challenges, setbacks you would like to highlight? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I have actually been lucky that I have not had any injuries so far, and I hope it
Hmm.
stays like that. I think I have had some kind of an experience where the reverse has happened, that I have had pains and aches when I have not run. And
Withdrawal.
so actually, it recently happened. Actually, a few weeks back, my brother had come from India, and I took him to New York City. He was supposed to take his flight from JFK, and I drove him in the morning and came back in the like after dropping him off, came back in the morning, and during the day we did some sightseeing, walked around. So at the end of the day, I had spent about 8 hours in the car driving with stop and go traffic,
Hmm.
and my leg was aching, like my particularly my right leg was completely and I thought, okay, I'll not be able to run. So next day I took a break, but then the pain did not go that much away, and then when I started running, it just went away.
Hmm. Yeah.
so so yeah, so like there can be the reverse story as
Yeah.
well.
Your body get used to it, used to certain
Yeah.
activity, and that may be result of that. But Anand, how about you? Uh, if there is a resilience story, and how you kind of jump back from setbacks and challenges, and if not, what is the you are now in eighth season. I'm sure you have learned about yourself more on the run, right? I always say that you get to know yourself where you are on the run. Is there any most valuable lesson running has taught you about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So the resilience part, there are a couple of stories that I probably would like to share. The first one being, not really related to running, but something around me, right? So,
Hmm.
uh, the way you see me now, I haven't been like this forever. I mean, at least 30 pounds overweight than what you see right now, 35 pounds,
Wow.
right? I'm 49 now. So for most part of 46 or 47 years of my life, I've been like, at least 30, 35 pounds overweight, mostly a couch potato. I used to play things here and there, in my youth, but nothing major, right? I mean, never was a really kind of like a active guy or doing a lot of sports or anything like that. And over a period of time, that is, and Aparna knows this better, being in the medical background, that inactivity over such a long period of time not only makes you overweight, it also comes with a lot of health concerns, right? So
Hmm.
my blood sugar was high, the BP was always high, and things like that. All those medical numbers, whenever, I mean, that was the reason why I would dread to go even for the physicals, because I know the doctor would say the same thing every year to me, right? So when I started running, right, uh, the friends and relatives, right? Let's just say that friends and relatives, they were like, why this, right? I mean,
Hmm.
this is not something for you, you have never run in your life, why are you doing this, and all those things. The normal chatter around you whenever
Right.
you try something,
The
right?
pullback chatter. Yeah.
Exactly. So especially with me being in that condition and all this chatter,
Mm.
right? Um, but I had to, I had to row through those choppy waters and still keep running. And even now, I have that kind of chatter around me,
Mm.
right? So one of the things which I constantly have to remind myself is, I have to uh, be, what my goal is, right? I mean, this chatter would be probably even 20 years down the line, there would always be
Yeah.
somebody who would ask me, why are you doing this? What
Yeah.
is, this is not for you, right? So that is one one of the stories. Another story which I would like to share is when I began the first season, I think season three, probably season three or four, and when I ran my first half marathon, so the training went very well, right? I
Mm.
mean, I was 5.0, the training went very well. Every long run, amazing, PRS and whatnot, all those good things, and the problem is that the problem was that the day that mattered, the day that should have mattered the most, which is the race day, is when everything went wrong, right?
Mm.
So I had certain goal in my mind, and things just fell apart, right? So I wanted to complete the race in probably around 2:35 to 2:40, and uh, due to whatever reason, I went almost up to 2:52 or 2:53 in the half marathon, right? So I was, being a first season, right? I always thought that, running journey is a linear journey, right? I
Mm.
mean, you do good, you keep doing good, and you keep doing good forever, right? You just
Yeah.
go up. There is nothing like going down, right? So having trained so well, right? And the race not going as per what I had thought was a big shock to me. And probably not many people know this, but I was almost ready to give up, right? I said, this
Mm.
is probably the chatter around me is maybe true at the end of the day, right? I mean, somebody like me doing nothing for so many years, probably this is
Mm.
not, right? But thankfully again, to my wife and daughter, I stuck to running, the next season, and the seasons after that, right? The most important lesson that I taught myself is that running is never a linear journey, and never measure your performance in terms of how you perform in a race.
Yeah.
Always measure your performance on how you enjoy a race or how you enjoy it.
The joy is in the run, not in the results, I would
Absolutely.
say, right?
Only thing is
But
it takes multiple seasons to realize that.
no, but that is all about getting a better runner, right? More wiser runner. Resilience is everywhere, right? In every sport, you get out on zero after scoring 100. You get a bad umpire call sometime. I play golf, and in golf, a lot of thing happens. In running also, every day you realize that Monday your run was amazing, and Tuesday you can't explain it why my run was so bad today, right?
Yeah.
But it is all about uh, understanding that journey, that hey, this is what running is trying to teach me about life, right? That every day is going to be different. You have to just make best out of that day, and stay committed, try to enjoy as much as you can and whatnot. Amazing, amazing stories, guys. So now, in this season we are in peak miso, uh, and there are a lot of new runners we have. I think they will be running, and new runners, experienced runners, they will be running their, as per the RHWB schedule, they will be running their long run this Saturday or this weekend, and then they will go in taper week, and they will look for the race day. I know there are a lot of nerves flying around, especially for new runners, especially when you have never crossed that distance. And it has nothing to do with 26 miles, even for 5K, 10K, half marathon. It's, as the day gets closer, the nerves and excitement starts to build. So, all of you, I'll start with Anand, you, because you had an amazing story. What's one piece of advice you'll give to the runners in this season as they prepare for the race day?
Don't put pressure on yourself. I mean, there will be a lot of people, a lot of a lot of numbers, a lot of things around you which would be always constantly telling you that this is your race, these are the numbers, these are the metrics that you have to do. Just ignore everything on the race day.
Yeah.
Go ahead, enjoy, and the best numbers are produced when you enjoy the run to the fullest. You won't even realize, and you would do your best, or whatever they call it, the PR, the personal best.
Yeah.
The PRs often happen when you don't try anything extra. So you have
Awesome.
already trained, the training is behind you. If you have trained really to the T, if you have trained well, there is nothing, unless something beyond your control that goes wrong. Everything that is in your control, as long as that stays in your control, the run will be, it will be fabulous. So don't put any
So
pressure on yourself. Go and enjoy, and absolutely you will produce the best numbers like that.
yeah, run in the mile. What you're saying is run in the mile, run your own race. Comparison is the enemy of the progress.
Correct.
That's what you're saying. Aparna,
Correct.
what about you? One advice.
One advice, I will just say that, like, we're talking more about this peak mesocycle, what to expect. So a lot of the new runners, this is the first season, the peak cycle, like you're going to see the miles just like look at your schedule and it is like if you're a 10K, you're going to see like 4 miles, 4.5, 5. And if you're half marathoner, you're going to be seeing 10 in your first time. You're going to see that number 10 in your peak mesocycle schedule. So it feels daunting. It was, think about it, that we've all gone through this and we all felt very similar in a same daunting fashion. But as Anand said, as Ani, you just said, you just have to run the mile. You
Yeah.
just have to give in for that mile and run for the mile, and the flow just happens. Follow the rhythm a little bit, try to be slow in the beginning, and then push your pace, and you will finish beautifully in the end. Do not forget about fueling before and stretching after. So make sure you hydrate yourself properly through the run. But before the run, just make sure you are eating. Like, I'm an early morning runner, but I will at least make sure I take a banana or a bagel or a bread. Some carbs a little bit in the morning. So pre-run, just prepare yourself, get into that rhythm, and then go through the run. At the end of the run, as exhilarated you are for finishing that milestone miles that you have done for this week, just don't forget to do some stretching and making sure that you are soaking and resting, because that's
Yeah.
when your recovery happens for the next day. The point is, all going to be able to do this. The miles are going to just happen and you're going to be exhilarated, but just do the pre and the post run, which is also very key. So that's my advice.
Amazing advice. Raman, what about you?
Yeah, so I would say basically the same thing. Go ahead and enjoy yourself, have fun, and also the longest run that you're going to still run in your training is only going to be 1 mile more than you already ran.
Yeah.
And also, don't be afraid that if you are running, for example, training for a half marathon, don't think that 10 miles are not going to get you there.
Correct.
Mm.
The 10 miles are going to automatically take you to 13. And another thing on race day, again, like you said, compare with yourself. You're not comparing yourself with other people. So don't, like my coach keeps telling me, slow energy release. Like when you start running,
Mm.
conserve energy, release that later. So don't look at other people who are running alongside you and are running faster. Just decide what pace you are going to run your first mile and
Yeah.
next mile and so on.
Amazing
So
advice, guys. One more I will add on top of it, especially if this is your first race and a 5K, 10K, half an hour, full marathon. Run with the group. Don't go and finish your race alone, is what I would suggest, right? You come to RHWB race day. If not, register locally, go to some races because that's gonna add 50% of energy in your run. The people cheering you, the people running with you is gonna make your run much lighter, much smoother. And hey, after 80% of distance is completed, accept that there will be a little bit of struggle. But my advice would be just embrace the struggle because that is what is gonna make that victory sweeter on the finish line. So
absolutely.
it's gonna be all amazing, all amazing. This is so good. Like, we talked about commitment, resilience, having fun, and you guys provided some amazing insight. Now, I have a surprise for all three of you. Okay. Before we wrap up, and I'm doing this for first time on my podcast, but I'm going to switch gears for a fun, quick fire round, right? What that means is I'm going to ask you a question, no explanation. It is going to be, you have to answer in one word, one sentence, but this is going to be a rapid fire question. And what I want is looking for your gut reaction responses than thinking responses. Okay? Good. So, Aparna, I will start with you. Okay. CP run or a speed play?
Speed play.
Speed play. Okay, that's really great. Uh, Favorite running shoe which you cannot live without?
Brooks Glycerin.
Look, oh, that's my shoe. Okay, that's great.
I moved to Aces now, but Brooks was amazing.
Yeah, I need a lot of cushion. Glycerin provides a lot of cushion. That's like a max cushion shoe, if I'm not wrong, right? So yeah, that's the one. And the last one, quick. Okay, very quick. Coach Suja or Coach Srivastava? Who's your favorite?
Coach Davidson.
All right. Okay, you played that well. Good, Aparna. All right. Good answers. Okay, Raman, over to you. Ready? What is harder, hill workout or saying no to pizza post run?
Uh, Sorry, can you repeat that?
What
What
is
now?
harder for you, doing a hill workout or saying no to pizza post workout?
Hell workout.
All
Hell
right.
workout.
Okay. Hill workouts are harder. Yeah, I know. I know. You
I'm
travel a
I'm
lot.
always looking for flat courses.
All right. Yes, you said that. Um, you travel a lot. So just one, okay? But most scenic place you have ever run.
I think it was uh, Hungary, Budapest.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make that a let's put that on a on a
Leader,
on a
right?
bucket list, I guess, to run. All right, last one for you, Raman. Treadmill or outdoor running? Which
Outdoor
is
any day,
worse? Which is
any day.
worse?
Oh, which is worse? No, treadmill. I just cannot take treadmill. I mean, it's very hard to run on treadmill. It's
Yeah, I
boring.
know.
And, yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult for me. And I personally, uh, again, I'm not trying to influence anyone who runs on treadmill, but personally, whenever I run on treadmill, I develop a shin splint. I don't know why, but only on treadmill, I develop a shin splint. But that may be just Coach Ani. All right, Anand, ready?
Yeah.
All right, one only, okay? Favorite pre-race meal or ritual? If it's not meal, do you have a like a superstition or a pre-race meal you have to have before your race?
15 minutes nap.
Really?
Yes.
Even before your actual
Yeah.
race? How
Yeah.
do you do
So if I
that in the
go to drive, I do lie down for some time and then drive.
Oh, nice, man. It helps you calm down.
Nice.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right. This is especially for you because you make sure on RHWB race day the pacers are there, right? But if I have to ask you that which celebrity would you love to have you pace in the race, who that would be? Bollywood celebrity,
That cannot be
female.
answered in one word because there are many.
Come on. No favorites?
No, not really. Well, not celebrity, but there are many in RHWB. I mean, RHWB celebrities, if you are
One.
asking me, I
One.
can name
Okay, maybe
many.
celebrity for you. Who? Who is that?
No, I said if you're asking me RHWB celebrities, I can
Yeah,
name a
please go
few.
ahead. Yeah,
Right.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I've been, and she has been pacing also. It's one, right?
Vandana,
Fabulous.
yeah. She did an
She has
amazing
been,
marathon
she
yesterday.
has been pacing, past few, RHWB races. So Vandana any day.
Okay. All right. And then last one. I know your favorite coach is Srivatsan. You always say that. But who is most favorite? Coach Srivatsan or Coach Shilpa?
What's
Who? What's okay? All right.
because of one word answer has been given
All
already.
right. Okay.
Cannot be repeated.
Okay. You know who should not listen to this podcast now, I guess.
Yes.
Podcast. All right. Thank you, guys. Um, Amazing, inspiring conversation, first of all. It has been incredible hearing each one of your stories and insights, especially around commitment resiliency and fun, and how that shaped your running journey. Uh, it's very clear to me, at least, that these are not just value which you put on a wall, but this is something you live by. But as we close this podcast, I really want to thank you. Thank you, Aparna Anand Raman, to take time out and sharing with our runners your inspiring stories. I'm sure they are going to get really inspired. And again, to our listener, I hope today's discussion has inspired you to lace up, to stay committed, to push through when there are challenges, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. But thank you. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, keep running with joy and all the heart. Thank you.
You. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
Thank
much
you.
for
Anand.
having us.
Magic in motion, right?
Magic in motion. Magic in motion. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Anand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Good luck on your runs.
Thank you, everybody. Same.